So now we come to the part of the program one of the parts that I was most excited about, because I think you're in for a huge treat. I got a chance to meet our guest speaker earlier this morning, and I was incredibly blown away by the caliber of person that we have that's about to come and speak to us and tell us her story today. So our guest speaker, many of you may know her, but if you don't, I'm telling you, she is a role model to so many women. Just when you hear her story and what she's done, it's incredible. Her name is Yvette Manessis Corporon. She's an internationally best-selling author. She's an Emmy Award-winning, three-time, I should say, Emmy Award-winning producer. Her books have been translated into 16 different languages. She's actually written 3 books, and if I'm not mistaken, the 4th one is on its way. 5 books, okay, I mean, she's gonna tell you, you're gonna hear all of it, incredible. And all ties back to Greece and the Greek heritage, so I don't wanna give anything away, but she is a first-generation Greek-American with deep family roots in Corfu. She studied classical civilization and journalism at NYU, so she's a smart cookie. She lives in New York with her family. She enjoys reading, running, and attempting to master yoga in her spare time. Today, she's going to reflect on the 20th Biennial Children's Medical Fund Luncheon, how it began as a cancer fund luncheon, and how it evolved into what we now called our Army of Agapi. But most importantly, I'm telling you, wait till you hear her accomplishments. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest speaker, Yvette Manessis Corporon, to the stage.
How the heck does one live up to that? Thank you, my dear friend. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I just want to start by saying good afternoon, Your Eminence, Archbishop Elpidophoros, Your Eminence, Metropolitan Sebastianos, Your Grace, Bishop Athenagoras, Reverend clergy, my dear Philoptochos sisters, who I love and who inspire me. If you know me, you know I get emotional. Anyone who's heard me speak, I know many of you in this room have heard me speak. I get emotional speaking about my story and what inspires me. And after what we have witnessed today, I mean, I just, you know, the Greek in me comes out. The emotion, the yaya, my yaya's inspiration comes out. So I just want to thank you all, my Philoptochos sisters. You are so inspirational. And as you know, I have written books, I write books inspired by the women who came before us, the women who paved the way for us. And after everything I have witnessed and experienced in this room today, do not be surprised if in the near future you read one of my books that takes place in Atlanta with some incredible, inspirational women who are changing the world with their grace, kindness, and goodness. So thank you for that. Thank you, thank you. What an honor and what a blessing it is to be here with you all today. Now, when I think about what brings us here today, the 20th Biennial Children's Medical Fund Luncheon, I can't but help think about stories. And as you've heard me say, stories inspire me. I'm a storyteller in my day job as a television producer, and in what started as kind of a side hustle, sort of a challenge to myself. Can I write a book inspired by what I love so much and what inspires me? And that is my Greek family, heritage, history, and culture. So stories inspire us. They inspire me, they inspire all of us. And they remind us what's possible when ordinary people come together to do something extraordinary, as what we just witnessed up here on this stage, and what Philoptochos does every single day with its beautiful mission. Since its inception, the Children's Medical Fund has distributed close to $5 million in grants, touching the lives of children and families across the United States and beyond. $5 million that have lifted up children, comforted families, and brought healing in places where hope once felt out of reach. My friends, this is the power of community. This is the power of Philoptochos. Now, as a storyteller, I've learned that behind every number there is a face. Behind every grant, there is a family. And behind every family, there is a story. And that resonates so deeply with me. Now, as we've discussed, I've made it my mission, my passion, to share stories of my yayas, of my family and my history, the myths and culture of our beloved homeland, Greece, with readers around the world through my books. Now, my first book, When the Cypress Whispers, was inspired by a story that my yaya shared with me growing up. It was how she and her fellow islanders on the tiny little island of Erikusa, just off the coast of Corfu, Gedgera, helped hide and save a Jewish family during World War II. Now, it wasn't just my yaya. I'm always very clear about this distinction. It was the entire island, the entire community. Some provided shelter, like my yaya. Some provided food, clothing. Some went to the top of the cliffs as lookouts and watched out to see when the Nazis were coming to search for escaped Jews, and they warned the Jewish family so they would go hide on the other side of the island. And some stayed away. They didn't want the Jewish family on the island because they knew it was dangerous, because the Nazis had gone door to door, including in my own home, threatening to kill everyone, kill their families, burn down the entire island if anyone was found to be hiding, helping the Jews. Well, guess what? Even those who didn't want the family there, even those who said we should not be doing this, they contributed in their own way as well, because they did not tell the Nazis. So the family survived. The family survived, and in fact, this story stayed with me and it changed me, because it is the power of community. Everyone on that island had a part, took a part in saving this family. Again, even those who didn't want them there did their part in saving this family. So my poor, illiterate yaya, who, when I was studying for my degree in classical civilization from NYU, came home from college one night, and I was studying for my exam. And I passed by my yaya's bedroom, and my yaya was sitting up in bed struggling to read a children's book of myths. And this irony was not lost on me. The sacrifice and the struggles and what my yaya's life was like and what mine was like as I was finishing my degree, and then went on to live my dreams as a journalist because my yaya paved the way. My poor, illiterate yaya, who never held anything of value in her hands, knew that she held the future of this family, of their survival, of future generations, in her hands by her strength and her sacrifice. Again, yaya was illiterate. She'd never left this island, but she and every ordinary mama and yaya on Erikusa did something extraordinary. Now, this past summer, when I was home on Erikusa and in Gedgera, I bought a gift, a baby gift, for the great-grandson of one of the women my yaya helped to save. Generations, future generations, and families, a loving family that are here today, 6 people alive today because of the strength of community that came together on that island years ago. They all came together to make a difference. They came together to make a difference because that's what they do, that's what we do. We may not have anything of value, but we know the value of leaning in and caring and helping and paving the way for future generations. And this is why I got so emotional, and this is why I believe so strongly in my beautiful, beautiful Philoptochos sisters and all the incredible works they do that, of course, we witnessed here on this stage today, because this is exactly who we are. Now, the Children's Medical Fund is our way of writing stories of hope for children that we may never meet. A child who finally gets the treatment they need, a parent who can breathe a little easier, a hospital that can offer cutting-edge care. These are the stories that you all have written. Everyone in this room has helped to write a story like this. Stories that will span generations to come, and like what happened on Erikusa, will help more generations and future generations build beautiful families because of your care and thoughtfulness. Because everyone in this room leans in and does what they can in the way that they can. That is what Philoptochos is, and that is what these beautiful communities are. And now here we are at the 20th Luncheon, and that little idea that was meant to float, that carried us through almost 40 years, and it's still floating, and it's floating stronger because of all of you. So today I stand with you filled with gratitude for those visionaries who launched this fund, for the leaders who nurtured it, and for all of you who continue to sustain it and do this incredible work. Together we have built not just a fund, but a legacy that tells the world that when we come together in love and faith, there is no limit to the healing and to the change that we can bring. And this, my friends, is the power of community. To come together, not to do the same thing, because we're all different, That may mean different things for different people. It may mean volunteering. It may be serving on the Philoptochos board, writing a check, scanning that QR code that's on your table. Scan that QR code and make a donation. Everybody's contribution looks different. Everybody's contribution matters. Like so many of us, I've often wondered, am I doing enough? What is my place? What is my contribution to this community? We are all so busy. We are all so busy in our day jobs, taking care of our families, our children, our elderly parents, our jobs, just maintaining the sort of hamster wheel of life. And recently, well, as many of us, as I said, I struggle with this. And I recently received a beautiful note from a reader of one of my books. As I said, all of my books are inspired by the women who came before us, and they share the little-known history of our ancestors and Greek history. And I received a note just a few weeks ago from a woman who thanked me. Her mother had recently passed, and in her final weeks, her mom wanted to read, so she gave her a copy of my book, Daughter of Ruins, my most recent book. And this woman, who was in the last stages of her life, read my book and saw her own life on the pages in black and white. She saw her family's story of emigrating to the US, settling in the Bronx after World War II, and straddling the two worlds between our old lives in Greece and the new world in the US, and trying to remain faithful while dealing with a whole new culture and new language and all the challenges and excitement that came with it. And this woman wrote to me and she said, "Thank you for giving this special, magnificent reflection to my mother, because she'd forgotten about that phase of her life. She'd forgotten about those family members and those beautiful memories, and you helped bring them back to her." And not only was that a gift to her, but that was a gift to me. And that was a gift to me to remember to keep going in the most difficult moments, in the moments of writer's block, in the moments of when we're all so tired we think we don't have anything possibly left to contribute to our community. But we do, because as I said, every contribution matters. Every time we lean in, every time we help one another, every time we come to a meeting, scan that QR code, it all matters. It all makes a difference, because individually we bring different strengths, we bring different histories, different stories, but ultimately we have one shared story of taking care of one another, taking care of our family through faith, through philotomo, and through the love of the history and the culture that we all share. No matter where in the country we're from or where in Greece we're from, we're all one family, and to continue to support one another is the greatest gift and the greatest joy and the greatest blessing. So, thank you. Thank you. I can't wait to see the next chapter of this story, and the stories of healing, hope, and change that Children's Medical Fund will continue to write for the next 40 years, for the next chapters, for these beautiful families, these incredible organizations, these extraordinary people who work so hard on the receiving end for helping these families, and for the extraordinary community of Philoptochos who continue to just dedicate and write not only chapters but books and novels for future generations. So thank you all so very much.